Lovely to connect with you all again, and some of you again. Yeah, it's been wonderful last few months. It's been quite a full-on time with everything happening on the planet. So just a little brief part of me. So basically, I grew up in a sort of psychic, esoteric family. So I've been involved in this sort of work pretty much all my life. And I've been doing this job sort of full-time now, so about 21 years now. So I've got some books coming out, just in the publisher conversation at the moment with literary agents, so it's sort of transitional at the moment. I've just patented a modality, as Gwen said. This is insured in 45 countries. It's got its credibility, so it's basically a channeled modality, and I'll talk a little bit about that through the talk. That spirit of given us for the new earth energy consciousness. As everything is changing, you know, we're moving more into the feminine energy for healing. We're working more with feeling now. We're taking a lot of the work out of the mind. We're getting people to listen and talk to the emotions because they have consciousness. And this way they transform themselves. We bring back the ancient knowledge of imagination. And Einstein goes a lot into imagination about how he discovered many of his things. It's not through logical sort of knowledge. It was more through setting in intention, being inquisitive and using imagination. And it's our most powerful tool we have. So we really get into a lot of bringing the ancient knowledge back that's easy and digestible, because the healing that's happening on the planet at the moment is transformed itself. So a lot of the old modalities are sort of becoming redundant in some ways, because they're working with the old earth energy. So this channel modality is basically a way to evolve quickly and come out of the shadow energy in a natural transition. So we break it up into 4 modules, and the shadow energy we work in module 2 and module 3. And the module 1 is really a process of where we work with numerology activations. We work with the foundational patterns that most human beings have, which is like abuse, betrayal, you know, denial, abandonment, and separation. And of course, the 2 that always oscillate is inadequacy and self-betrayal. So we really go into these foundational, and they're all wired into all human beings because our ancestors have carried that energy. So basically, Spirit have said, you know, this time transition we're going through now is to transform the emotional body and heal our ancestral line. And that's been made very, very easy. So there's a very simple process that we teach to do this. And you have a very vivid physical and psychic and emotional experience as we're doing these sort of techniques and activations. So really each step sort of, it takes you through a process of unconditioning, because you can't open up too quickly. And as we'll get into the emotions now, because there's so many attachments on a multidimensional and interdimensional level. So we really start getting you into the thinking of that and being present with other aspects of your consciousness. And that's when we go into the 3rd and 4th modules. But it's really taking you through a way that you are clear. So each step, it's a safe process, because there's a lot of people that have done things too quickly. It's become very scary, and there's been all sorts of things happening from the non-physical beings as well, and also the trauma, if it's released in the wrong way, it can be, you know, it can be debilitating. Because actually this life now, which all of you have contracts, we all have contracts on some level to be part of this transitional period. And, you know, it hasn't been done many times really. So what's happening is we are healing multidimensional energies, or interdimensional, because interdimensional runs from our earth plane life existence, and multidimensional is aspects of our own consciousness in different dimensions and realities. So actually what's happening is those are coming into the present moment. What we're doing is we're merging these consciousness, and this is a natural transition that we're all going through. Okay, you don't need to invoke this. This is happening. So you're either aware of it or you're unconscious of it. So this is really about bringing the information to you. So what's already within inside you, you can just wake up to. And that is a beautiful process. It's just, you just glide through it. There's not all these rules, sets, procedures. It's just being present, imagination, inquisitiveness, and intention. Because intention is the foundation of all outcomes. And we teach you to use your mind to create space in your imagination. And what this does is it allows consciousness to come into that space and transform the emotions. And this is the way it was always done, because we are now back into the vibrational era where everything works with vibration. So the first point of call when you're going to do any work is to go into the vibration of the creation of whatever it is, whether it's a cycle to transform, a belief system, a relationship. So this flow that we're trying to sort of bring in creates the sacred space so that your coding or your original algorithm, which is your genetic imprint, and I'm not talking about your ancestral, I'm talking about sources coding of the male and female. Now that is coming and reconnecting into our consciousness now. And this is part of the shadow energies, and we go a lot into the brain, the hypothalamus, because these are the consciousness, they hold the consciousness of obviously your multidimensional aspects of yourself. The hypothalamus is the physical suitcase of your soul. So there's a lot of work that goes on there, even more than the pineal gland in some ways, for the physical experience. And also what's happening now is that this coding that I was talking about, this algorithm, we have to have working functional receptor cells. So what's happened is misinformation has caused a divide in the cell body. So everything becomes unilaterally polarized. When you've got information in your cells that are unilaterally polarized, what happens is whatever information has come in, it holds you in that frenetic state. So this is why we have all of these belief systems. But half these belief systems have been built on misinformation, but we believe they're right. And this is, again, what's happening is this consciousness that we're working with now, part of this modality as well, brings energy in into the brain hemisphere as well, because we get oscillation moving through the brain hemispheres, because they have, again, been unilaterally polarized. And what this is doing is it's creating a foundation for then that light or that original algorithm to ground into your body. And when that does, this is what we call heaven on earth analogy, is actually what it means is it means you are having full soul awareness whilst in a physical body. So we're not actually ascending anywhere. And again, this is the New Age movement, has some misinformation in there as well, because if we're already interdimensional, multidimensional, there is nowhere to ascend. You are having experiences on many, many levels. So you have to be conscious here. You have to be human. Now, it's not taught to be human, it's taught to be spiritual. You're already spiritual. You don't need to be spiritual. You just have to remember how to be spiritual. What you have to do is remember to be human, to live the human experience. And when we come into alignment, what happens is the soul drops into the body, because the emotional energy is oscillating through the physical body. And when the energy is oscillating through the physical body, you cannot get an ailment, because there's nothing that lets down the physical body except our emotions and our belief systems. The physical body is perfect. So again, it's bringing that consciousness. When that's flowing, the soul grounds, it becomes conscious in a 3D experience. So you're interacting with your soul like you're talking to your best friend. And then what happens is the heart then opens. And when the heart opens, then you become a multidimensional being whilst in the physical experience, because spirit consciousness has to ground in the heart. It cannot ground in a closed down heart. So of course, this work is really removing all of the misinformation, all the trauma that we have in our lower 4 chakras, which is our earth. So we work with the 9 chakra system. So you have the earth star and the soul star, because human beings work in 9 densities or dimensions of reality. So those 9 chakras are connected to this physical experience in this galaxy, in this solar system. So what's happening is that we are bringing through this consciousness so that you can naturally awaken, like I said, to your soul contract, which is to move through this energy to transform aspects of your other consciousness. And it's a beautiful thing, because actually what's happening is people are realizing very, very quickly how they have been misinformed through their own eye, through their own knowledge. And as soon as that twitch, and it literally just dissipates very, very quickly, because the soul has been for many, many lifetimes trying to wake up its human extension. And this is what's going on now. This is this denial on the planet. And this is a year of denial. The 22 acts up to 4, and the number 4 sits in the solar plexus, and that's when the energy of denial sits. So this is everything that is repressed and denied this year is going to come to the surface, because it needs to be acknowledged. Now, we're taught to fear and suppress our emotions, Actually, our emotions are our friends. They are very, very conscious beings. And you can talk to an emotion like you can talk to a person. It's the same consciousness because everything is alive. And when you talk to the emotion, it can tell you a whole story about where it's come from, why it's there. And as a healer, I talk to emotions in people sometimes for 10 minutes because it's giving me the story. And then you get the person to understand, and we can do, I'll do a little bit in a few minutes if we get some time, to allow the observation of the emotion. Because what we do is we give it love and gratitude, because love is the only transformer. And gratitude, you know why we feel gratitude, is because if you didn't feel that emotion, you couldn't transform it. Now, what do most people do when they feel the emotions? They try to push them away, think about something else, or just panic or let it take over. And we go into a frenzy. If you close your eyes, give it a color, for example, step back in your imagination and view it at a distance. And you don't need to visualize, you just need to imagine. Because most people spend a lot of time, they're trying to visualize it. They can't visualize, they get frenzies as well. You just imagine it's there. Just imagine, it's that simple. And that space that you've given between you and the color is what I mentioned at the beginning of the talk. Transformation, all it needs is space to do it in. Your imagination is the most powerful tool you have. If you put an image into action through imagination, by universal law, it has to manifest. And the only way it wouldn't manifest is because of your belief system subconsciously. So this is why people say, I'll never get my dreams, or people, they've done a study on people that win the lottery and most of them lose the money or spend it very quickly. And they find out that the belief systems is money's evil. I don't deserve, I'm worthless. So of course that magnetic energy, because we work in a magnetic universe. And again, this is what Einstein, he proved the magnetics of planets. And that's why they said he was going mad. And he said, love is the only frequency that you can get the information from. So we're really bringing all of that energy back together now into one modality. That's a process that takes you through. And actually the group that comes together in these modalities have all had many lives together. And it's very interesting because when I teach the different groups, there's a different, the teaching, it goes a very different way. Obviously we have the things we have to do, but all the spirits come in, we do group healings, we get messages for all of what they've done together. So it's a very unique experience, and it's a great awakener because this planet, like I said, works with magnetics. So whatever you have not resolved in yourself, which is what we call karma, karma is not really, we need to take that word away. We need to say it's magnetic. So if you have an experience that keeps happening, your soul has manifested that to wake you up. If you keep attracting the same abandonment issues in your relationships, it's your soul is trying to wake you up, because you have to transform the abandonment. Because then what do? We always blame. Oh, I always get abandoned. I always get abandoned. And we create that story. So we're trying to get people out of the story. And it's a simple process, getting out the story, understanding the magnetics. Because as soon as you know that you're creating your reality, it's very, very empowering. Because if you know you're creating it, you know you can fix it. Most people believe they can't fix things. We're all very, very powerful. So this is a process of reminding you how powerful you are, so you feel it in the most natural way. And like I said, the groups that come together, it's quite unique. What I'm going to do, because I do a lot of channeling, obviously this is a channel modality, and I also channel messages from my group each week on Facebook and stuff. So I'm just going to read, obviously, because this is about emotions today, I'm just going to read a channeled message about emotional control. Okay, and this is sort of apt for this year as well. Okay. This was channeled actually a couple of months ago, but it's apt for tonight. Okay, so we're sitting on the edge of your planet, and we look upon human consciousness witnessing an influx of guilt placed on one another. Now, because many on the planet are starting to stir ancient trauma, their egos are getting in the way and playing the guilt game, trying to control what they are feeling by projecting it onto their story, blaming others for their lives and their mistakes, trying to control the emotional output of said guilt, will only create more emotional trauma. The belief in I am alone is coming up to the surface because many of you feel this but don't articulate it correctly. And it plays out as a victim. And of course, a victim will always try and control other people's emotional responses to support their victimhood. And in truth, emotional energy is what keeps the planet in sync. It is a very powerful force. And when in the wrong hands, can cause havoc to all those around them. They believe they need to act a certain way in situations. And it's these belief systems that keep you in a gridlock. The mind without the direct connection to the soul body cannot handle or even understand the emotions in their entirety. Because firstly, you are not taught emotion. You are taught logic. And second, emotional energy comes from the feminine aspect of creation. And until the male force on the planet can understand the feminine expression, they cannot understand their own emotions. And until females can understand their own male energy, they will be out of balance too. To express emotional energy in balance, you must have a balanced inner child relationship. Because if your vulnerability, your sensitivity isn't loved and respected, you cannot hope to find emotional equilibrium. Trying to control emotions through logic will only harden the person because you are not honoring the duality of your experience. The sacred flame you all carry in your hearts is asking all of you to take time to process your emotions through feeling, not through logic, not through your story or your circumstances, but rather thank them with gratitude because they are your story, but they are not your reality. Your true reality is understanding how you have been playing in a world of illusion, which is now asking you to release it from your minds and honor it for the experience it provided you. For in the next coming years, it will be increasingly hard to stay in illusion by not honoring truth or reality. We are experiencing a lot of frenetic emotional energy as deep, ancient emotional charge is stirring at the cellular level, and it's sending shockwaves out through your galaxy. It's quite a spectacle for observers of your planet. You will soon witness the bees returning, and this is a sign of balance resuming on your planet. On a personal level, it means you are coming into balance. But don't rest on your laurels. There is much depth to your subconscious, and all that needs to transmute will start to surface over the next 18 months. Be the brave, wise warriors you are all known to be off planet, and start to let go of your conditioning and belief systems. They are your only downfall right now. So, great message. I just thought it connected in for tonight's conversation. You know, and a lot of these messages are coming because, you know, you don't have to listen to the words per se. We just need to want it in our subconscious to awaken. And these types of channel messages, they have a frequency in them. So even the book that we've written, it's an activation in itself, because the consciousness is alive in the physical, you see. So this is where we're getting into the quantum field now. So you just need intention, and that intention has a powerful magnetic force, and it will draw and awaken what's already within you. So what happens is you just start waking up the next day thinking, I feel like a different person. Something's really strange going on. And it's this type of energy that's coming for us now. And it's a beautiful thing. And it's transitioning very, very fast. Like I said, you just need intention, and it's just beautiful, you know. And we're so conditioned into the fear mongering on our news stations and stuff that we get out of that polarity, you know. And that is designed, truly designed, to keep us in our base chakra. Our base chakra is constantly stimulated by the outside world, and it keeps us in fear, keeps us in separation, servitude to our own emotional energy. And the biggest issue for humans at the moment is the distraction. Because if we are in survival mode, we are not working on ourselves. So this is where you need to be most conscious now. You need to be most conscious of where you are still stuck in that survival. Because if you ask your soul to come in and assist you with that, it will start to shape your intention, because this is an illusion. This is an illusion. You have the reality to shape it through your thoughts and your belief systems and your intention from the soul body. So again, we're moving into a very special time, and we need to get excited about that. I'm very excited about it. So, all right. So alignmentmodality.com. So it's alignmentmodality.com. And all my information's under there, but I've given full explanations for everything as well. And obviously I work one-on-one with my clients as well. I have programs and sessions. So if something you're interested in, just, yeah, I've got an email there on my phone number and we can catch up. Lovely. Thank you.